Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your brand new episode of WrestleZone Unfiltered. Yeah, there she is. I was wondering where you went. I was like, damn, I thought she was here. Joined
I'm
by, of
here.
course, the All Elite Zone's favorite diva and CM Punk's best friend. You know, I think you're more like wanting a Dolores Claiborne Wardlow, but that's a different story for a different day. Miss Danny, how you doing?
I am good, Mr. Jason. Always a pleasure to be with you guys. On Thursday, I have a small group of pals at work that and my customers. I've been telling them all about the show.
Well, good. Hopefully they jump on and throw us some feedback here. Last week was rather interesting, so we'll see if we can get some more interesting comments going on
And
like
I
we had
think
last week.
the whole just we were talking about wrestling, and I said as I saw my friend Logan as I was leaving, I asked him about the heel turn, and he actually closed on Saturday, and he was like he wanted to watch it at work, but he didn't want to be too loud, so he's keeping up with it on Twitter and quote unquote per Logan. Hi Logan, I know you're not watching, you're probably at work right now at the moment, but um he had said, "Did I see what I thought I saw?" And he texted his brother who was watching at home, and his brother confirmed, yes, John Cena's heel.
Yeah, that normally I can see stuff coming or be like, yeah, okay, I can go back and see where that came through. And a lot of people that went back and to his press conference, what he said at the press conference after the Royal Rumble, like, wait, well, we should have saw this coming. No, not really.
No.
Um, I mean, they tried to get him to do it for, 10 years or more, after the whole Cena, let's go Cena sucks,
Oh
split
God, yeah.
50-50. And he just kind of said, no, these people pay their hard earned money and I do all these make a wishes and, I'm going to keep going. So no, I mean, that one got me. I did not see that coming.
I
And
didn't see it coming either. And I worked until 4 on Saturday. The perils of being retail, you have to work on weekends, start drinking heavily. But we got home, we turned it on because of course it was Toronto time and we didn't want to miss it because with the Rumble we ended up missing like an hour of it. So we turned it on and um I'm on the couch. My husband's laying on the floor. It's what happens when you have 4 cats that take up the couch. Well, actually, we have 5. And he was laying on the floor, and I go, they didn't do the Cody Rock segment. And he's like, yeah, they didn't. I had a feeling it was going to come towards the end, but I didn't think it was actually going to be at the end of the show. So then Cena wins. We kind of we saw that coming. Everybody saw that. Stevie Wonder could have seen that one coming, Jason. I mean, it was just only logical. So then Seth appears, Punk gets screwed. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell just happened? Then Cody comes out, The Rock comes out. Cody basically used colorful language, if you would, to tell, The Rock what he was thinking. And then when The Rock goes like this, I was like, oh my God. And the last time we saw Cena, we were at Payback 2013, 2014 in Chicago, and I was the only woman in the entire arena saying, John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks. I was the only woman. Kids were going crazy for him. Women were going crazy for him. I was like, okay. He's been stale since 2012. That's just my thoughts. This needed to happen. I didn't see this one coming, but it's going to be interesting to see his response to what Punk said on Monday night. Plus, where do they go from here with him as a heel?
yeah, like I said, I just, I was the same way that when the Elimination Chambers, they started talking about the Elimination Chamber coming down for the main event. I'm like, we're saving Cody and The Rock for last. What kind of bullshit we got coming now?
Right.
And so I was sitting there waiting on it, and like you said, everybody was 98% sure that Cena was going to win. And the last 2 times I remember him wrestling, and I could be wrong, but there might have been something else in there. But he laid down for Solo, and he laid down for Austin Theory.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been somebody else in there. They said he hadn't won a singles match in like over 2,000 days, and so, nobody saw it coming, but I do think, and again, this is just my opinion, take it for what it is. Cena's not going to retire a heel. We know that.
No.
So I think in the end, we're going to get heel Cody. At some point, somehow, some way, we will get heel Cody before all this is said and done.
Sure.
With The Rock, the corporate shit, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it was shocking. I mean, it was you didn't have Bobby Heenan going, but whose side is he on? Oh my God, that killed me with Bash at the Beach. That sticks out. Oh, that was great because David was commenting about Hulk Hogan and everybody's comparing it to because I mean, really, what you've never had the biggest star in the company, do that, except going back to, when Hogan did it. And so, yeah, I mean, Bobby Heenan was great in that situation. He just gave it all away. Whose side is he on? I told you that man. I told you how that man was for years, and y'all wouldn't believe it. That was great.
Yeah, we actually are now in the episode of Nitro after Sturgis. So we're post Sturgis, where Sting again is becoming, the hair's getting longer, it's darker. So it's right before, it's in between Sturgis and Fall Brawl after they accused him, of siding with NWO. And it's also after the Rey Mysterio lawn dart episode. And the one thing, Jason, that just goes through my mind is when he comes out, is he the third man? He's the third man. So Dusty, Bobby, and Tony Schiavone are sitting out there. And Tony Schiavone's like, oh my God, somebody should kick his rear end. That's all I can hear Tony Schiavone say.
Well, that and the very end of the pay-per-view when it was going off, Tony Schiavone was talking about whatever he was talking about, and he said, Hulk Hogan, you can go straight to hell. I was like, and it went off. That was the end of the Bash at the Beach pay-per-view. But I like the way they did this too, with Pat and Michael not talking and getting in there to check on Cody Rhodes. And yeah, the three fingers at Bad Blood was Cena. It's just they're doing a real good job of long-term storytelling where you can go back and look at certain things and it'll start to make sense. But I think I said last week, if it wasn't, it was when I did the pod champs with Connor and Mr. Jacobs, that I just wasn't excited for WrestleMania. They had not done anything to make me, it wasn't, is Cody going to actually finish the story this year? Who's going to show up to help him in the Blood Ryan Rules match? And, this, that, and the other. There was a lot of stuff going into last year that I wanted to see. And, just like I said, Jey Uso and Gunther, that doesn't excite me. Charlotte Flair and Tiffany, I mean, we've seen that one coming because they get compared so much. And, there was just nothing that I was, it's WrestleMania. So, yeah, of course I'm going to watch it. But now it's like, after what happened Saturday night and then the promo that Punk cut on Monday. God. And then them fighting every time they saw each other. And then next week you've got Punk and Seth in a cage, and that's not going to end clean. Something's going to happen. We still got the favor from Paul Heyman to play in. We still got Roman to come back to get in the middle. I've heard rumors that Jey Uso is going to be pushed out of that main event with Gunther because people just aren't excited for that match at WrestleMania. So that could still possibly happen. Rhea losing her title Monday night. I don't know where they're going with that. Jade is advertised for SmackDown this week. Cody's supposed to respond to what happened Saturday. And, Cena's, I saw some dates that Cena's been advertised for Raw and SmackDown as well. That's coming up, so like I said, they reeled me in. They got me interested now.
Well, and I think part of it too was there was some talk about the sales for WrestleMania 41 were really lackluster, and you had to do something to get the interest. Well, what has everyone been buzzing about? John Cena's like this little bzzz. He's like a little fly that's buzzing around the IWC with this heel turn. And, people are like, oh my God, this is like Hogan's heel turn. Well, with Hogan's heel turn, it was different because this was just out of nowhere. You had that angle that was set up between Scott Hall, God bless his soul, and Kevin Nash. And no one saw this coming, but you also didn't have the internet back then. You didn't have Twitter. So it was just so different in a different time period that worked. Yet Cena's heel turn is just like, oh, okay. And again, this should have been done 2012. If we would have done this in 2012, Cena would have been about 36, 37. We would have had some darn good matches out of him. but
Yeah,
they did it a little too
these
late.
people today are not ready for heel John Cena. They need to go back and watch some of that Doctor of Thugonomics stuff
Yeah.
to get ready for that. And I, not to interrupt you, but everybody welcome Connor. He's done eating the brains behind this operation. Boss man, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good.
Tummy all full. You ready to go? You got gas in the tank?
Yeah, I'm fully charged.
Good. Yeah, like we just been kind of catching up real quick on not really in depth, just the shocking turns over the past week. What's to come? What do you think about Cena's heel turn?
I thought it was really, really good. Probably the most shocking heel turn since Hogan. I can't, just like one of those comments, I can't think of anybody else that it felt that big, but you didn't see it coming. Once Cody came out, and then The Rock came out, and then Cena was still standing around, I knew something was going to happen because they made that the main event. Well, technically, the Elimination Chamber men's match was the main event, but they like quickly transitioned into that segment or whatever. But I kind of figured something was going to happen. And like once Cody declined, like something was going to happen. Like there wasn't no way they were going to end the show like that. But yeah, I think people will be talking about that for years to come. And I like that nobody saw it coming. Like someone said in the comments, the Rock put up the 3, and John Cena does this all the time, and nobody's seen it coming. But yeah, I thought it was very well done. This I'm really curious to see where to go with this. John Cena's going to be on Raw, not this next Monday, but the following Monday. He'll be on Raw back to back to back, 3 weeks in a row. So,
it's like Triple H was talking about it when he talked in the post match press conference, and I mean, really, that's what he was talking about with Cena just going around and shaking hands, kissing babies. Hey, I'm here one last time. I honestly thought that's what we were going to get from him. I really thought that's all we were going to get for his appearances this year, and they got me. They got me. So this will be not only WrestleMania, but like I was telling Danny before you jumped on, he's not going to retire a heel. He's just not going to do it. And somehow, some way, I do think the double turn will be coming at some point to where we will get heel Cody going with Rock, and Cena getting cheered, one final time before he is hanging it up, and so we got 10 months worth or 9 months, I guess, worth of storytelling, and I'm interested to see what comes out of it.
Yeah.
Well, and I think what's going to be interesting, sorry, Connor, to interrupt, but I think too that would be interesting is how do they do this? And shouts out Mr. Tito on No DQ. He had mentioned something about this the other day, and Logan brought this up earlier today too at work, is what theme are they going to use? Are they going to use the Thugonomics theme that was so over in
Word Life?
2003, 2004, 2005-ish, or are they going to do something new? The second thing is the bald spot.
That damn thing needs its own zip code.
That thing needs its own zip code. And there's an NWO meme that's going around that is hilarious.
I've shared that like 16 times.
Where it's got the NWO and then it's got Cena's bald spot. It's like, cut his hair. I said this 2 years ago. He has not aged well, I don't think. And the man's going to be, what is Cena? Cena's born 77. Cena's going to be 48 in a matter of weeks.
Yeah, I think, Cena talked about this on Chris Van Vliet's podcast, that it was like 2000 and, I think it's whatever year that the first Cena and Rock was, that Cena was going to go heel. He had new gear.
2006, maybe?
I think the first time he went against The Rock was like 2011, 12.
So, okay, okay, you're right.
Then he had made new theme song, new gear, so they might actually use that theme that they made a while back.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I don't want to see Def Rebel make it. It's just going to be a disaster if they let them make it. Like this is a classic moment. You got to capitalize on it. It cannot be.
You make it.
What's that?
No, if they let who make it, it's going to be a disaster.
Def Rebel. That's their that's WWE's company that makes their theme songs.
Okay.
Well, with Cena, both of his theme songs, he has been the one singing. So I think if we're going to get a new one, I think you'll get Cena rapping or something on there again as well. And just to, get your thoughts on, the rest of the Elimination Chamber real quick, and then we'll move on to Revolution. The women's match was good. Bianca won is kind of what I thought was going to happen. The only thing that surprised me with that was after Jade beat down Naomi, I really thought they were either put Jade in the chamber or they would have, hey, we got to have 6 people and, brought out somebody else. Nikki, before we get to the rest of it, I think Cena should win at Mania, but not clean, kind of the same way he won at the Elimination Chamber. Seth stomping CM Punk, and then him taking advantage with the STF. Which I'm wondering now, are we going to go back from? Are we leaving the attitude adjustment and the STF in the past and going back to the FU and the STFU?
I was thinking that like they should go back to that.
I'll be curious. Sammy and Kevin, as we all expected it was a hell of a match, but again, to me, we've just seen it too many times. The women's tag team match, it was okay. My girlfriend got pinned by Tiffany. At least it wasn't Tiffany's mom, but it was a way for Trish Stratus to wrestle in Canada one more time. So it did what it was supposed to do. And then, of course, the Elimination Chamber, and then John Cena's heel turn. So I mean, it was a decent show. And then The Rock on the post match press conference going. And when Cody told me no in his oh so eloquent way, I kind of giggled about that a little bit. But I mean, a lot of people normally aren't excited for the Elimination Chamber is kind of right there in between. But the last couple of years, they really done stuff to get people interested in, and made it tie into Mania. And it's like I was telling her, Connor, before you jumped in, that I'd said either here or on the pod champs when I was with you, I wasn't excited for Mania. They hadn't done anything to get me excited. And now not only am I interested to see Mania, but I'm interested to see where these next 9 months of storytelling when John Cena goes.
Yeah, I think he should win 17 at WrestleMania, and then maybe have the heel turn come to an end at SummerSlam, or something like that. I mean, John Cena might retire as a heel. He started as a heel. He's going to end it as a heel. But I do think it's been reported that in December in John Cena's hometown of Massachusetts, Boston, that they're going to have a themed show just for his last match, and it's going to be titled Ruthless Aggression. For that, maybe the Doctor of Thugonomics should return, because when you think of Ruthless Aggression, it's the Doctor of Thugonomics. I mean, he's the one that first was Vince, but on SmackDown, the famous words to Kurt Angle, Ruthless Aggression. So, or maybe he goes back to prototype Cena, like just the tights and nothing else. But
well, I hope he at least gets him a tanning bag, 'cause he was damn near as white as Sheamus.
Yeah, if you go back to like 2008, that's what he looks like. Like he was pretty white back then too, when he came back from an injury. Yeah.
But him and Michaels both drive me crazy. They're both multimillionaires, and they've got the money to affix the baldness they got going on and make it look right with the money they have, and the doctors WWE has access to, and they let it go, and it's just like
Punk did it.
Okay. So, anyway, I would have before the Cena thing, I'd have probably given the Chamber a 7 or 8, just because that women's match was, and Sammy and Kevin again, it was a good match, but we've seen it so many times, it kind of takes away from me a little bit, but that Cena stuff, and because I didn't see it coming, it takes a lot to surprise me anymore because I've been watching it so damn long. But that they got me, so I'll give them a 9.9. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah, I gave it before the Cena stuff, I'd probably give it an 8, but I give it a 9 out of 10. It was good. I thought they should have added a match. 4 matches for a pay-per-view just isn't enough. I think for a pay-per-view, the minimum should be 6 matches, 6 to 7. Especially for like a stadium show, like when you're charging out the butt for seats, then you're giving them less. Like if you're going to charge fans $16,000 to sit front row, you got to give them a show. Not to say that they didn't give them a show. I mean, the show was very good, but I thought they could have added something else. Every match was good. I like Tiffany and Trish teaming up. I would like to see them win the tag titles together or go against each other. But it would have to be a heel Tiffany. and I don't think they're going to do that anytime soon. But yeah, I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about the 4 matches is that's why I thought they should have done the Rumble 2 nights instead of SummerSlam. I thought that should have been their next 2-night affair. Simply because when you have the Chamber and you have the Rumble, both those, the Rumbles, of course, are an hour apiece at least. And then the Chamber, it's at least going to be 25 minutes, with everybody with the 5-minute intervals of putting people in. So, maybe one more match, but I mean, that was the problem with WrestleMania before it went to 2 nights. You'd have people sitting in the stands for 8 to 10 hours, and by the main event happening, that crowd was dead.
Yeah.
And, rightfully so. It had nothing to do with the matches going on, and toward the end that they were spent because of all the big stuff happening and everything. But, like I said, maybe one more match, but with what they got in the Chambers, and, it still went 3 hours plus. So.
Like John Cena turning heel was worth the admission price, I think. So,
What do you think, Danny? What do you give it?
Well, I think before the whole Rock Cody segment, I think for me, it went from a 7.5 to an 8.5. And that was only because the interesting parts were Jade's return when we thought she was going to go after Liv, but she took out Naomi, which, to come in, just take Naomi out. Bianca's in the cage screaming. We had no idea why
Bianca sold that really well.
Yeah, and we had no idea what was happening, but she took out Naomi. I was kind of expecting, I agree with you, I was kind of expecting Jade to go in or even Becky to come back.
yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but then I don't know if Becky's even coming back because it's been so long she's been gone. But then the CME match, Sammy Kevin, I like Kevin, I like Sammy, I love Kevin as a heel, but again, we've seen this how many times?
Well, they did set us up. We got the return of the Legend Killer, so that'll be setting up.
Yeah,
him and Kevin.
That was one thing that I was waiting for, and I was so excited to see him. Trish looks amazing. Tiff is adorable. That was just kind of I'm going to go work on something around the house because there wasn't really much there.
Wait a minute. Nia Jax was in that match, so how can you say there wasn't much there?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of women's wrestling. I am, but I'm not. It just kind of depends. But, and then we have the men's chamber, and Seth screwing Punk was just very well played. I was like, oh my God. And then again, following it up, Cena's heel turn. Somebody said in the comments where I got to go back down, something about they already knew this was happening. I didn't even, and I want to say that we covered it, but I didn't even realize that was going to happen. But then when Cena went heel, I was like, oh my God, that kind of upped it for me up to like a 9.5.
Yeah, and I'll say this too. One of the things I thought they did real well at in the men's chamber, they did a very good job of not making Cena look like he was better than all those guys that have been around, and they also did a very good job of protecting just about everybody in the chamber except for Logan Paul. Logan Paul, he, from what I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, got beat with the 1, 2, 3 from a go to sleep from Punk. But Punk passed out to the STF after Seth stomped him. Drew got rolled up. They just did a very good job of protecting everybody inside the chamber and not making them look, not making them look weak.
There was something that I posted that was interesting, and I posted it in one of the groups, and it was, who would you not want to see back in WWE? And it was Travis Scott. I call her Ratchet Red because she's Ratchet, or I Show Speed. Somebody said, what about that blonde something, referring to Logan Paul? And I was laughing when I saw that.
I Show Speed, I thought was funny. He took that spear like a champ for Braun Breaker. Travis Scott's doing music. I don't mind him, but no, I agree with you. Red was horrible. So that would be my pick on that one. But any last thoughts on the chamber, Connor?
No, I thought it was a really good show. It's probably the best chamber in quite a while. I mean, the Cena heel turn, I don't know if there's been a moment like that on any Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. But I thought both chamber matches were good. Yeah, I thought it was a good show.
Yeah, like I said, they reeled me in. Now I'm excited for Mania to see where everything goes. So they are doing a good job tying the story in. And we move on from the WWE to AEW Revolution this Sunday, March 9th. Don't forget daylight saving time. If you have any still manual clocks in your house, I think I still have two, maybe, which is the oven and the microwave, and the rest of them are not. But we spring forward. We lose an hour of sleep. So if you don't remember, you'll miss the first hour. And what do you think, Connor? What do you gonna watch this one?
I don't know. Most likely not. I haven't bought an AEW pay-per-view since Dynasty of last year. I haven't watched AEW since. Well, I'll still watch occasionally. But the matches that do stick out are I think it's Omega and Nikisha, which we've seen that a billion times. Same as Tony and Mariah. Those two, Tony and Mariah, I don't really have any. I don't want to see it again, really. Like, we've seen it at All In. We've seen it at Grand Slam Australia. We've seen it at, like, that is so many different times they've run against each other. What else is going on? Moxley and Cope. I don't care for that. There was another match. Ricochet and Swerve should be good. I don't know if I'm gonna get it or not, but for me, I haven't been. I was more excited for last year's Revolution, most likely because it was Sting's last match. But there was a lot of other good builds to some.
God, I can't believe that's been a year ago already.
Yeah.
God, that place was
1
packed.
year.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll be, and this is where I think he's missing the boat. I'll just, they've got 0 Hour with Big Boom, AJ, and with Cassidy and Briscoe against the Maximum Male Models and Johnny Nitro, Johnny Swing, whatever the hell you want to call it,
Johnny TV.
that too. But the guy's not, he's not a. He's not a great wrestler. He wrestled years ago, but the Costco guys have a huge following, and it's like I've said before. If you're gonna do it, at least make his followers pay for the damn thing. Don't put it on 0 hours. If you're gonna put him on the show, put him on the show. Make it worth your while. Maybe some of the fans don't care for it too much, but put him on the show so that following that you're trying to get to watch your product. If they want to see him that bad, will buy the show, and. So again, this is the second time he's wrestled, and this is the second time I've said it should be on the main show. It can be the opening match, that's fine, but if you're gonna do it, do it.
Let's just do Moxley and AJ Boom. Let's do that for the world title main event.
There you go. And AJ Boom gets featured, but this guy is nowhere to be found. If anyone finds Wardlow, let me know. If I was an attorney, I would have him pro bono. I would have him out of that contract so fast. Tony Khan would get whiplash.
Well, I'm gonna run down the card here, and I'm, Okada and Brody King. I mean, it'll be whatever. I'm not really excited for that one, but I don't think it'll be a bad match. I'm like Connor. I think Swerve and Ricochet will be a great match, and
that's gonna be a good one.
I'm interested to see. I think it's possible to get a Prince Nana turn with that robe and everything going on. I mean, it might be something else. Samantha's name was mentioned last night on Dynamite. You might see her. There's just a lot of different stuff that could go into that match. MJF and Hangman Page. Y'all know my opinion on Hangman Page. I'm not even going to rehash that, but I feel like there's something more coming here. They're not. I don't think they're going to make either one of them lay down clean. So I mean, depending on. I mean, Wardlow's been rather quiet. You haven't really heard a whole lot from him. Mm-hmm. I still think if they bring him back, that would be the best spot to put him in. Is back with MJF, and I mean, when you interview him, just say no. I still don't like the dude, but money talks. I wasn't making none here. Nobody was putting me on TV. I mean, let him shoot a little bit. Say no, I don't like his little prick ass, but I'll for the right price, I'll protect him. The World Tag Team Championship, the Hurt Syndicate and the Outrunners. You really haven't seen Cage and Archer say anything since the Outrunners beat them. And, like I said, I can completely see them interfering in this match and causing, like a roll up on Shelton Benjamin or something like that to give the Outrunners. Cause I mean, they are over whether you like them or not. They are over with the AEW audience, and give them a tag team title run. And then maybe bring in Cedric to put the titles back on the Hurt Syndicate and let Bobby get put in the world title picture. I have no desire to watch Mercedes Moné and Momo Watanabe. I don't like Mercedes Moné. I didn't like Sasha Banks. So before you say it's an AEW thing, I didn't like her anywhere. So that'll be my piss break. Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. I mean, there's a story here. It's not just a dream match. And we've seen it a couple of times, but it is in a cage, and I think they will tear the house down. They're starting to tell more of a story with, Takeshita and Omega with him, showing the young boy pictures from Japan. We've seen it a few times, but it's always an entertaining match. And there's actually a story with it with the Don Callis family with, Fletcher, Ospreay, Takeshita and Omega. Tony Storm and Mariah May, I think they'll put on a good show. They always do. This is the third match in the trilogy. So, this will be the one, whether, win or lose, whoever loses and whoever wins will go their separate way. I think this will be the last time you see it, at least for a long time. And then this is very rare. You hear me say this about a pay-per-view, but no matter who it is, but I could give two shits about the main event. I don't care about Moxley versus Copeland. I mean, I know if we looked it up, we could find, Dean Ambrose versus Edge. This is, like I said, I don't mind him bringing in former WWE guys, but, use them to get some of your talent over that's not familiar with the, with the audience, or, to bring some other people in. Edge is almost 50 years old if he's not 50 already. I think Moxley is boring. I thought he was the worst member of the Shield when he was still in WWE. The Death Riders have not done a thing for me. And, they had the little scuffle between Moxley and Wheeler last night when after Cope beat Wheeler and he just grabbed his hand and shook it. And so that's what respect looks like. Maybe you get a Wheeler turn, or maybe it's Wheeler, sucking Copeland into something. You might get all the Death Riders come back tomorrow after Edge has beat them up in the past few weeks, whatever. You might get a new Death Rider, or you might see the Death Riders come out. I mean, they've been teasing it for a long time, and everybody's wanted Edge and Christian back together. He's still got their version of Money in the Bank. And I would not be completely surprised to see Moxley retain because of whatever. And then you see the patriarchy come out, and because they're beating down Copeland after the match, and, make the save, but also have, Christian cash in his title shot and take the title, and him and Edge, hug and do whatever they're going to do. So, I mean, not sure that'll happen, but it's just something I would not be surprised to see. So, that's kind of my take on it. I think it'll be a decent pay-per-view. Like I said, Okada and King will give you a decent match, and I just, it's because of, he put Buddy Matthews out, or whatever story they're telling there. Like I said, I'm curious about MJF and Paige, because I think more is coming there. But the two matches I just don't care about are Mercedes and the main event, and the rest of them, I'll be interested to watch.
Yeah, some of these matches, I can tell you who's going to win and how they're going to end. But I do hope Prince Nana, they got to do something to make that more interesting. I think Swerve probably will win. I don't know. I hope they do something with it. Story-wise, the thing that sticks out the most is MJF and Hangman. They've had some pretty good segments. It looks like that they've pivoted from MJF and Jeff Jarrett, from how much fans did not want that.
No.
And MJF should be doing something more, not going against retired people. He did that with was Dustin Rhodes. They had him go against. I don't think him and Jeff Jarrett had a match, but I'm glad that I pivoted from that. The tag team match, I think Hurt Syndicate probably retain, because I've seen it before. They'll make you think someone's going to cost somebody, and then they still cost them, but then the person still wins, even though they tried to cost them. I've seen it before in AEW many, many times, especially with.
What I was saying, I agree with you. I think the Hurt Syndicate is going to retain. I'm just saying I would not be shocked if they did something simple to protect the Hurt business and give them a quick run with the tag titles.
Yeah, they don't really have anybody else in the tag division to give it to, so. They got the Outrunners, Brian Cage, Lance Archer. I was a big Brian Cage fan. If anyone who's been on this channel a long time, he looks horrible. From a long time Brian Cage fan, he looks horrible. He should have stuck with the face paint and all that. But him and Archer,
I liked him. I liked him up until he laid down for Tessa Blanchard. That soured me on Brian Cage.
yeah, I was able to look past that because I waited on the booking. But then his look now is just, I don't know. He's trying to be the Wolverine, the Swolverine, or whatever. You're not Wolverine, all right? Just get that through your head. You're not Wolverine. He should just stuck with the character he was. Well, it's been the same character, but a different look, I guess you'd say. Mercedes and Momo, I don't care who wins that. Same as the main event. Tony and Mariah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good match. Just like for me, I'm not in sync with anything with AEW. I haven't been in a while, but the match of the night will probably be I'm gonna say Hangman and MJF, but normally Ospreay delivers pretty much on pay-per-views. For me, at least, I was more excited for Revolution last year. You could say it was Sting's last match, but also there was some pretty other good matches. Was it Joe Swerved and who was it? Swerve, Joe. Was it Hangman? I think it was Hangman. And a triple threat. I could be wrong. But for me, last year, I was excited for Revolution last year more than this year. But it should be a good show. No.
What do you think, Danny?
So the one that I feel like is going to be, again, the boring match is just going to be Sasha. I mean, let's just start right there because she has, we know, creative control. I think, Connor, did you mention something, or I read somewhere that she has her own writer, supposedly?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, Connor, if you were the one that said that last week, but that just sounds boring to me because to me, she's a female version of the Bucks, pretty much. She kind of gets to do what she wants when she wants. Moxley and Cope, can we please, I can't cope with the name Cope, no pun intended. That one, I don't know. There's just Moxley's there, Death Riders, they just exist. They teased Wheeler Yuta face turn supposedly this past Wednesday on Dynamite. I don't know what else they can do with that match. I don't know what they can do to make Jon Moxley more interesting because that Death Rider storyline's kind of I'm loving this Tony gimmick again. I don't really care for her backwards hat gimmick. This one is just her because I feel like it's an extension of who she is in real life. That one's going to be interesting between her and Mariah May. What else have we got? Fletcher and Ospreay. Okay, there's something there. I do think Ospreay needs a heel turn. I read somewhere that they were saying something on one of the groups was saying that they think he should turn heel, and I think he does. He needs to. And what else are we missing? There's one more that I'm missing, but I can't think of what it is at the moment.
The only one, the tag team titles and Mercedes.
Yeah. Her business does, and that I can see them retaining. Do we know when Seth Alexander would be able to debut?
His contract, from what I remember, and I could be wrong, I think his contract just wasn't renewed like a couple of the other ones.
Yeah.
Like Sonya Deville, her contract was just not renewed.
Okay.
It wasn't released,
I'm curious if he actually goes just because of the Big Swole stuff.
Yeah.
I'm curious if he's going to have to put out a public apology for that, probably.
Well, I mean, look at all the shit Leo Rush talked every time he left, and they still brought him back. So,
yeah.
I
don't know, someone's wife.
Yeah.
We'll see, though. But
well, when you're out of a job and somebody's going to offer you high six or possibly seven figures, you tell mama, I need you to be quiet while daddy go make his money.
No,
and it's not only going to AEW, it's going to AEW with his friends. And I'll just touch on this, and y'all can tell me what you think. What drives me crazy with the online trolls is when they bash the WWF or WWE so much, and then your main event is, Moxley, who, like I said, I didn't like him in WWE. I thought he was the worst member of the Shield there. And then a 50-year-old Adam Copeland instead of, AEW guys. And you're all like, oh my God, this is going to be so good. It's like, do you hear yourself talking? I mean, it's like, be excited for the match if you want. I liked Edge in WWE. He looks way old here with what he's coming out doing. To be quite honest with you, I think Christian has been much more entertaining and interesting in AEW than Edge has been. Again, Moxley, I didn't like the Blackpool Combat Club, especially. I thought they needed to do something once Regal left and refreshing that instead of keep going by that name. And then you get the turn and you get the Death Riders, and I don't. It doesn't even look like the main AEW audience is into the Death Riders. They just, none of them could cut a promo. And like I said, you got. I don't know. I mean, you got everybody that wants to bitch, moan, and holler about how bad the WWE is, but yet you're so excited for an over the hill Adam Copeland and a boring John Moxley who came from the WWE as your main event. So be excited for Ospreay and Fletcher. Be excited for Takeshita and Omega. I'll give it to AEW. They booked Tony Storm much better. They booked Swerve Strickland much better. Ricochet, in my opinion, now you know why WWE didn't let him talk that much, but some people might like that. But I agree with David. I think overall it should be a good show. I'm just not excited for the main event. I wish the main event was something, I honestly, if I sit here and look at it, as far as main event goes, I'd rather it be Fletcher and Ospreay or possibly MJF and Page. I think that would be a better spot for the main event than Moxley and Copeland. I think unless they do something at the end of that match, not necessarily at the height of what they did with Cena, but unless they do something exciting at the end of that match to make it worthwhile, I think the people are going to, leave disappointed after the main event.
Yeah, that's they did. Jay White's going to be involved in that match. I think he's going to be ringside, whatever. I could see him turn on Edge and costing Edge, and then Moxley winning. Maybe they do tease something with Wheeler Yuta. I don't care anything about him. I used to like Wheeler Yuta, but I don't know. It's just the same thing over and over and over and over. But it's the main event. The main event, like it's the main attraction of your show. It's what's called the main event. It's supposed to be a big deal. If fans are dreading the main event, then something's wrong.
And Danny's best friends might pop back up at any time, so you might see the balding Bucks come back here. You never know.
Actually, I refer to them as I came up with a new name. It's the Cucamonga Carnival Act, Cucamonga Clown Show, or my newest one, the Backyard Boy Band.
Well, I mean, they Adam Page is on the show. You got Kenny's on the show. I kept waiting on them. I thought when Kenny came back, that would be a way for them to put the Elite back together to go against the Death Riders because of Moxley's comments about this is not your company anymore, blah, 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 blah. And it went right to Don Callis, and, the Young Bucks wanted to go home and work from home. So I thought they missed the boat there. We haven't seen Jack Perry since he lost to Daniel Garcia. So, you might have him pop back up. I did hear that Luchasaurus is cleared for a return, so that's good.
Good.
There was somebody else I heard that was cleared for a return as well, and I can't think off the top of my head who it was. No, it wasn't him. It was one of the females, and I can't think of which one it was.
Sky Blue.
Yes, Sky Blue. Thank you, Connor. So both of them have been cleared for a return. This whole Mercedes Moné gimmick of her trying to recreate the Ultimo Dragon from WCW in the 90s, coming out with 9 belts back then for all the different continents he'd won cruiserweight titles on, is just, I don't know. Like I said, I hate to keep repeating myself, but I hated her as Sasha Banks, and I hate her even worse here because she's got creative control. Can't nobody tell her no, and it's just, in my opinion, getting worse and worse. Her promos are just awful.
And she's not going to put anybody over. Like, she's got the final say. Like, she's the female Hogan of AEW. She's got to make any kind of money she wanted. She's got her own personal writer. She's probably got her own locker room. She's pretty much got everything she wants. I mean, you talk about someone I don't want to see back in WWE. She's one of them. You know, there's a reason Naomi went back, and she didn't. I liked her in WWE there for a minute, Sasha Banks. But once WWE got so bad, it was singing and dancing, and I just got out of the whole damn thing. Her coming to like this is the most I've disliked her in AEW. I haven't found one thing she's done in AEW interesting. I mean, the stuff with Britt Baker there for a little while, the build was pretty interesting, but the match sucked. Yeah, she's just there she's just there to do whatever she wants, and she can make any kind of money she wants. I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably take that deal.
Oh yeah, I mean, from what I heard, it's hearsay, but they said her contract was worth $5 million a year. I didn't.
She's not worth any of that.
She's not.
Well, I mean, again, I wouldn't be, I mean, I guess she's worth it more than I would be because at least people knew who she was. But, I mean, you offered the money. I mean, that's not on her. I mean, if she's offered the contract and she's offered to be able to pick which way her character goes and, take it, do whatever. But, like what you brought up, Naomi, I'm interested to hear Jay Cargill tomorrow night. I'm interested to see because I mean, we've all thought it was Naomi, but, because Naomi didn't look like she had a clue that Jade was coming after her.
Right.
She was just standing over there in the corner. So what if it wasn't Naomi? What if it was Bianca that attacked her? And she went after because those rumors were online that Jade and Bianca did not get along. As a tag team. So I'll be interested. I'm normally not too much for I'm not normally excited for women's promos, but I want to hear what she's got to say tomorrow night.
Yeah, I've been predicting that. That the reason Bianca was so upset was because her friend got attacked for something she didn't do, and eventually she's going to come down to saying, "I'm the one that did it." I'm looking forward to that. This is probably the most interesting thing I've seen Jade be in her entire career. I didn't like her in AEW, but it wasn't really her fault. I feel like it was the booking, the way they were booking her and stuff. It just felt like they just threw her out there and just tried to shove her down people's throats.
Well, they, that Twitter tease they let her put out. She brought her line back. I'm that bitch. So we'll, I'll be like I said, I'll be interested to see where it goes because, I was really hoping for a heel Naomi, but Jade's another one of those that just her build, her personality. I put her in the same category as Charlotte. She doesn't have the personality to be a babyface.
No, she doesn't.
She's got that I look better than you, look at me, I'm chiseled from granite, her demeanor, and just like Charlotte's, they've tried Charlotte as a babyface a couple of times and she just comes across as an asshole, no matter what position on the card she's doing it. And so we'll see. I am interested to see what Jay's got to say tomorrow night, but I was hoping for a Naomi heel turn because that glow stuff is just, if we're getting away from the PG era, if we're gonna leave all that behind, then that gimmick has by far ran its course.
Yeah, she's been doing the glow character for it's been a while.
Yeah, even when when she won the title, they did one of those kind of like the Cena spinner belts. They had put the her title was lit up with lights around it. So
yeah.
So we are coming up here on the hour. Any final thoughts for what we're about to see on Sunday night, or maybe even the Punk Rollins match on Monday night? What are you guys excited for?
I'm excited for it to be Monday. I can say that much. Punk and Rollins is. I have a feeling Punk's gonna win, but I hope this happens. I'm probably gonna jinx myself. I think they're gonna do something like last year. The night one main event affects what happens in night two. I think Punk's gonna win on Monday, and then Roman, but Roman's gonna spear Rollins. He's gonna cost him. Then Punk's gonna win. So that's gonna free up Punk. He doesn't have to worry about that. The only plot hole in that is what's his favor. I mean, Paul Heyman does connect to The Rock a little bit. I was predicting that maybe they do on night one Cena and Punk against Rock and Cody. I mean, Rock and Cena. Cody and Punk and Rock and Cena, because Punk cut that promo on Monday. I guess the Pipe Bomb 2.0, kind of. But
Well, what about this? And the rumored match for Punk has been a triple threat with Rollins and Reigns.
Mhm.
But let's just say you're right. Let's say that Reigns comes in, spears Rollins, that protects him, from taking a flat 1, 2, 3, and they move Punk away. You get Seth and Roman at WrestleMania, and his favor
yeah,
is to get Paul to go to The Rock or Triple H or whoever because they owe him a favor and
Mhm.
have him added to the Jey Uso Gunther match.
that would be good too.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah, because I feel like Gunther is a good talker. He's good in that aspect, but to me, he doesn't. There's nothing special about him. There was a sign, and I want to say it might have been last week at, was it last week or a couple weeks ago at Dynamite, that somebody said AEW doesn't have some stupid guy yelling a stupid yeet or something like that, which,
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
yeah, I saw that was really interesting. And I think with Jay, he's more over with the phrase than he is for the wrestling ability. If I were anything, I would just put the Usos back together. But can you really put the Usos back together and, have them dominate? Which, if you do that, then that's going to be kind of boring.
I think they should reverse their roles. Jimmy Uso should have won because Jimmy Uso has been really good on SmackDown.
Yeah.
He's been pretty good. Maybe they've carried him a little bit. I don't know because he's going to get some talented guys: Drew McIntyre,
Mhm.
Carmelo, LA Knight. But
Yeah,
yeah,
well, you notice as over as Jay is, as soon as he won the Royal Rumble, for all those people that are eating, and I mean, they love his entrance, they love being part of the show, but
Yeah.
then they're like, main event of WrestleMania.
yeah,
I'm not real sure about that. So that's kind of why they've been playing around with the idea of possibly removing him from that match or
I would.
doing something else with him. And like I said, it's just a bunch of what ifs. If Reigns spears Rollins Monday night, cost him the match, that protects him. They move Punk away, and because when he was doing his promo on Monday, in the midst of calling them bald frauds and all that stuff, he said he still had stuff up his sleeve to make it to the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So, he won't be added to the Cena Cody match because that'll just take away from it.
Right.
But I mean, it's also possible. I mean, it's very possible that he could get, that he could get placed into that one. I mean, because of what happened with the Elimination Chamber. Just like I said, I'm real interested to see where they go with it all. Because, like I said, I was not excited for it. Mania, I would have watched it. It's WrestleMania, but with what they've done in the past, I mean, in the past, what I guess 6 days, got me excited for WrestleMania and the rest of Cena's farewell tour because I did. I mean, I really did. I thought it was just going to be kissing babies, shaking hands, and
Mhm.
this is my last time here. And I thought he might or might not get the 17th title. I wasn't real sure, just depending on how they did it. But so far, they've done it very well. He did not look like he was 10 times better in that chamber than everybody else was, like he would have 10 or 15 years ago. Super Cena, as JBL used to call him, Big Match John, all that kind of stuff. That they did not make him look like that. And
JBL was right after
and
all these years.
Punk was protected by the stomp and just passing out in the STF. So I'll be real interested to see where it goes. And I don't have a lot of faith in Tony Khan. I haven't in a long time, but like it's John Cena, so they can't top what the WWE did. But I'll be interested to see what he might have to throw at that main event at the end of that main event to try to.
I know what he might do. He'll bring in AJ Boom and Rizzler and all them, and then they'll be the ones to help Moxley lose the title, and that'll be your big turn.
Well, again, I might shake my head, and he might surprise us. You never know. He might got a phone call from a Scott D'Amore or somebody he actually listened to, to see. I mean, it's again, it's entertainment. That's why we watch it, and hopefully we get surprised, and we'll see. Like I said, I'm looking forward to Sunday night. I mean, there's, like I said, Monet and the main event's the only two matches I really don't care nothing about. So, I mean, while the main event's going on, I might be up walking around going, all right, it's been 15 minutes. I'll go back and watch the rest of it because we're getting close to the end. Let's see what happens. But I'm like I said, I'm really interested for MJF and Paige, Osprey and Fletcher. They will beat the absolute dog shit out of each other. Takeshita and Omega, in theory, should be good. This should be the last should be the last hurrah for Tony Storm or Mariah May. They'll move them away from each other, and Swerve and Ricochet. Like I said, you might get a Prince Nana turn to make that more interesting. But we'll see. That's why we watch it. Yeah. Any final thoughts here, Miss Punk friend?
Final thoughts. There is something circulating around. I don't know if you guys want to see it, but I posted it on Twitter about the John Cena Make-A-Wish parody. If you saw that.
Yeah.
Now I did see the WWE trademarked Break-A-Wish.
I was the one where Cena comes in and then he does the FU thing. I was dying when I saw that today. But no,
there was a meme out a day or two ago of him holding up his Never Give Up towel.
Yeah.
But it said, "Fuck them kids."
I saw
that. I saw. I was laughing so hard.
I was just about to say that for you.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to SmackDown tomorrow because I don't know if Cody's going to answer like what happened on Saturday. I'm looking forward to Monday. And now it's just getting interesting, and Punk's promo took that up a notch. And you're right, Connor, it's the Pipe Bomb 2.0.
To a degree, it is.
Yeah.
Some of that was probably real stuff because Rock's taken his opportunities more than once.
Yeah.
On Punk, but I don't know. Maybe this leads to Punk joining Cena and all them. Because I did like in the Chamber match that Cena and Punk kind of paid tribute to Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart
with the heart attack. Absolutely.
Caught that. So maybe they're gonna. Maybe Punk screws Cena.
And speaking of tag teams, it was announced today that the Natural Disasters will be going into the Hall of Fame this year.
Yes, God bless John Tenta's soul. We share a birthday.
Oh, I just got through watching John Tenta versus I think it was Big Bubba Rogers, WCW.
Yeah, that was some horrible stuff they did to poor old John in WCW, from Shark to Avalanche to.
His best character was the Earthquake.
Absolutely. He was only like 23 or 24 then. I mean, when they pulled him out of the crowd to do that,
he looked very.
He looked like he was 40 already.
Yeah.
But of course, when Arn Anderson was 26, he looked like he was 45 already too. So. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that was the one tag team that LOD was always so able to, physically dominate and look much better. And I mean, not that Natural Disasters had better figures than LOD, but they just pushed them around. They didn't really let LOD do anything. And but yeah, Earthquake to me could be on their own zone. Uncle Fred didn't do a whole lot, in my opinion, by himself.
Well, he was
Shockmaster, Tugboat, whatever. But again, like I've told y'all several times, Coco Beware got put in, so that really lowered my standard for who they put in the Hall of Fame. But yep, congratulations to the Natural Disasters, and we got all kinds of stuff coming. Like I said, Sunday. Saturday was interesting. Sunday, hopefully they can. It was Cena, so you're not going to be able to replicate that, but hopefully you can get close and give us something interesting to make Wednesday a must-see episode of Dynamite with with however the stuff goes between the four big matches we really talked about. And then, you're going to have Monday night with, the Punk Rollins match. Tomorrow night, you're going to get Cody saying something. Jade Cargill is supposed to be interviewed. I mean, it's WrestleMania season, folks. And, I hope we're previewing Revolution tonight. And, I hope Tony Khan, I hope he, ups his product as well to, try to make it to where we're like, got to see that too. I mean, because now there's wrestling damn near 7 nights a week. And, if you're going to compete with Mania season, you got to up your game. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, it's like I can't watch all of it. Like I only pick I only watch Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Sometimes I watch TNA on Thursdays if I'll watch it after the show or something. But it's impossible to watch everything. Like some people watch WWE, AEW, New Japan, TNA. It just gives me a headache trying to consume that much wrestling.
Well, the only thing I really try to watch live is the end of Dynamite because the DVR cuts it off, so I don't have to try to find it on YouTube. So I know I can go back and watch the rest of it on the DVR, but I try to, when the main event comes on, I'll just, if I'm doing something, I'll be looking at the clock and being all right. It's 9:56. Let me go watch the last 10 minutes of this match because, again, they haven't got it with the network and got it with the cable companies and everything to where that DVR, goes the extra 5-10 minutes overrun that they always do, and it gets cut off. It pisses me off. But the rest of them, a lot of them is all for background noise, and if I hear something, I'll go back and rewind it, or I hear somebody's music and I'll stop and see what happened. And like the beginning of Raw is just excellent to me. Punk cuts that promo, and then Rollins' music hits, and instead of saying something, he just jumps immediately off the desk, puts the mic down, and goes flying up the ramp to fight him. So, like I said, the Cena stuff has really set it in motion for, like I said, for me, not only Mania, but I am positive Cena will not retire a heel. So where this whole story is going to go between now and the end of the year. So that's where I'm at with it. And anything else to add there, Miss Danny?
No, I think we've covered everything. It's just going to be interesting just to see where this whole thing goes. How are they, gonna, put this out here? When would we get that Cody turn? When is Roman coming back? So many unanswered questions for just going forward here with WWE. And then again, what is Tony Khan going to do to actually be relevant? Because he's starting to lose, I think, a lot of credibility. He's losing more credibility, I feel like, week by week with the ratings.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, even from what I read, and I forgot where I saw it, but even with the presidential address to Congress on Tuesday night, NXT still beat Dynamite in the ratings. I don't know how they're figuring that in for Netflix. I don't know how they're figuring that in for the viewers on Max. And to be quite honest with you, like we've talked about, I don't care about the ratings. I really don't. They both got TV deals, and the only rating that I care about they get is the time that I give them when I sit down and watch it. So, but I did see where NXT, even though the president was addressing the Congress Tuesday, still beat Dynamite in the ratings. If they figure the Max stuff in, is that still the case? I don't know. But I have been watching it on Max opposed to TBS or TNT, whichever one the hell it's on. Just because that's what pops up on my suggested for when I flip on YouTube TV. So, Netflix, I'm excited for that too. Moving forward, you see them backing more and more off the PG era, which I thought they would do. And here's something for you guys. Like Connor, you were little back in these days, but Danny will remember this. And I actually glad I thought about it. I want to get your opinion on. And Playboy went back in print last month, and I forgot who the cover girl was. I want to say it was some kind of model overseas or whatever, but they are now back in print. And with WWE being partnered with TKO, which you for UFC, if you're not familiar with UFC, those guys can get locked up for attempted murder, but as soon as they get out of jail, if they think there's money in it, they put them right back in the cage. They don't care about their arrest. It's the way Jacob Fatu was able to be brought in because Vince did not want to touch him, and as soon as the sale was through, that was one of the things Triple H wanted was Jacob Fatu. I think AEW would benefit more, but with Triple H talking on the post press conference the other night, he's like everybody every time somebody says something about competition, people thinking we're talking about sports entertainment. He said we're not. We're talking about every form of entertainment there is, from movies to the NBA to baseball. He said nobody's touching the NFL right now. He said, but it won't stop us from trying. He goes, we're competing with every form of entertainment there is, and I'm just curious if it would be for not only whatever company it is, but it would be good for it would be beneficial for Playboy as well, because if you go back in the 90s, those were the best selling issues of Playboy when you had Tori Wilson, when you had Sable, China, Candice Michelle, Maria Canales, Ashley Mazzaro. I'm trying to think of who all Kimberly Page was in one. She wasn't the centerfold like the WWE.
Lita?
Huh?
I think Lita wasn't she?
No, Lita was not.
Okay.
Was Christy Hemme?
Christy Hemme, yeah, Christy Hemme was in. But I personally, my opinion of that is, of course, you don't force anybody to do it. You just have a meeting with all your female talent and say, hey, we're thinking about, contacting Playboy for a possible working together again. Which one of you guys would be up for possibly posing, and we can give a list of names and let them choose from. I think AEW, I think AEW should do the same. It would, because I mean, especially the 18 to 35-year-old demographic that wrestling companies try to bring a hold of. They're either going to go online and order it, or they're going to go find the nearest store selling Playboy. And I think it would still work. Especially with the way society's gone. I mean, you see celebrities posting shit all the time with that are topless and this, that, and the other. And I just think it would be beneficial to whatever wrestling company might want to contact them. I think it'd be beneficial for Playboy to try to get back out there now that they are, back in print. What do you think?
I think it's for them to go into Playboy again, and I think that would definitely get a little bit more eyes if AEW were to partner. But then when you think about kind of your women's division, I mean, the only three you would have would be Britt, Tony, Mariah, and Sasha, and that would be it.
No, the hardcore AEW fans, if you had a Julia Hart pose in there, or
I forgot. Yeah, Julia, I forgot about her.
Or Sky Blue,
TNA.
or hell, even maybe I don't know what kind of marriage Moxley and Renee have, but maybe even Renee, because she's well known. There's some in there that as long as it's not Naga Rose, I'll be happy. But,
as long as that's not Marina Shafir, Connor will be happy.
I'll never. I told someone just today, if you ever see me buying Marina Shafir, I'm not well. Please take me to a mental hospital. I will. You'll never see me buy a damn thing from that woman.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't bought any figures in a while, but I did see where Chris had posted in the group. I knew they were coming, but I do want that Lexus King and new Brian Pillman figure. I do want those too. So, what do we got coming for this week, Connor? What else we got coming?
I'll see on Saturday. I think we're planning doing the Pod Champs. We might do a little. Is Revolution Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Yeah, so we won't have to worry about that. We'll be doing the Pod Champs on Saturday. We'll be back for SmackDown tomorrow. Me and Miss Jacobs most likely will be on the Wide World of Wrestling podcast. I told this on our Wide World of Wrestling channel that after WrestleMania, then I'm gonna try to do some interviews. If anyone does not know, I'm going to WrestleMania, so I'm trying to put as much money back as possible. So
I'm jealous.
I'm not wanting to spend too much money right now, but I think I've got a target of like our first three, and I think once WrestleMania is over, it's gonna go like boom, boom, boom. Like they're gonna be back to back to back.
You mean they won't give us an interview out of the kindness of their heart?
No.
Well, there's only a few people. Kevin Von Erich's the only, and his sons are the only one that's ever done that. They did an interview, didn't ask for a dime, which he didn't have to. He could have charged a pretty high dollar if he wanted to.
And I wasn't on there with his sons with you, but I just, that was a thrill for me to get to talk to him. And he just, he seems like the guy that he comes across as on TV. He just seems like a real laid back dude.
You can tell he is.
He's our most viewed video in general on this channel. I think it's like 2,000, 3,000 views or something. That interview is. I don't know. Maybe I can get in touch with his. Isn't there a woman that wrestles in their family as well?
Carrie's daughter Lacey did wrestle for a while, but she hasn't done. She's been out of the ring for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's possible, but that would be interesting. But I will say the people that we are going to be having on, former WWE stars, WCW, ECW, people like that, maybe even a tag team. One just got signed to a WWE deal, or a Legends deal, I should say. But yeah, I plan on having a lot more interviews after WrestleMania because we haven't had one this year. Yes, pretty much everything that's coming up.
So you got SmackDown tomorrow and the Pod Champs on Saturday. What about you going to try to do any kind of live review for Monday with Punk and Rollins in the cage?
Yeah, I'm going to try to, if I'm able to. But yeah, that will probably be a must, especially since Punk is wrestling on it. Yeah, we should be back for Monday for Raw as well.
Okay, and then next week we'll come back and I hope Revolution's good, because I really do hate coming on here and sounding like I'm just pounding on AEW all the time. I'd love to be able to come on here and, and say how much I enjoyed the show and how good Mercedes match was, because I got up and left the room. But, and of course, whatever lead up to WrestleMania we've gotten between now and then. But if there's nothing else, guys, we are coming up on the hour. Like I said, Pod Champs, Wild World of Sports with Wild World of Wrestling, with Connor and Mr. Jacobs, all kinds of good stuff, live reactions, look down the road for some interviews. And you said a Legends deal tag team. Maybe we get Here Comes the Axe and Here Comes the Smasher. But you never know what we're going to get around here. You never know what we're going to say, what we're going to do. And so until next Thursday, when we are back,